Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Thank you as always for your tweets. Former Premier League referee Mark Clattenburg is with us. Shaq Hairstyle, Ali Moreno, and back from his Disney adventure, Stevie Nicol is with us. There it is. That pretty much sums up the trip.
Well, I can't be sticking my skin in the sun, can I?
It's beautiful, Stevie.
Well, I was getting some fresh air, not the sun.
Lovely, lovely look there. Lovely hat.
Oh, I need that big time.
Yeah, is that new?
Brand new, yeah, at the shop in the hotel.
Stevie, it must be hard for Salah to return to Liverpool and meet Mane after losing to him just days prior in a huge final. Is it normal for teammates to fall out after encounters similar to Salah and Mane's encounter?
No, it's the complete opposite. Complete opposite. I don't know if anybody didn't actually watch this game at the end when Egypt were going to get the runners-up medals. Mane was all over Salah.
Right.
I mean, and he took it well. So, yeah, it goes the other way because you have empathy for the guy who's got nothing and you've got all the spoils. That's generally what happens in that situation.
We discussed yesterday with Salah telling the goalkeeper which way that Mane might prefer to go, and no one had a problem with it. It's part of the sport. It reminded me, was it Sir Alex Ferguson who asked you for some tips on the Liverpool players?
Sorry. No, it was Wales. We were playing Wales, Scotland against Wales, and we're in the meeting before the day before the game. And there was myself, Dalglish, Souness. So we're playing Wales, so Rushy's playing for Wales.
Right.
So Fergie just turned round from nowhere and said, just to the Liverpool boys, can you give us a little rundown of, what Rushy's good at? And we just all went like that. What? What's he talking about? And we never said anything.
And he got angry about that?
Well, we didn't. Not at the time. We had no idea. It wasn't until he came out with his book that he said that he thought that was a little strange. I mean, what were we going to say? Well, I'll tell you what. He's fantastic in the air.
Yeah.
He runs like a gazelle. Don't give him an inch because he'll take a mile. If he gets a shot at goal, he's probably going to end up in the back of the net. Other than that, he's garbage. I mean, seriously, what did he think we were going to say?
I don't know, Steve. It could be a bit helpful. Say which way he likes to take his penalties.
He can stick them anywhere he wants.
For Mark, what league has the best officiating, on-field and VAR? Which league are you in charge of, Mark? Greek, so that's not in the conversation.
Well, not now.
I think there'll be a lot of conversation. It depends because I think there's arguments everywhere. The Premier League at the moment's going through some bad spells where they don't know if they're going to go to the on-field review. If they don't go to the on-field review, there's so many mistakes. You look at the Italian leagues going through, the Greece league that I'm in charge still has mistakes. I don't think there's any league in the world that doesn't have mistakes. We'll look at the MLS, for example. I think they have the best VAR system. I think their line of intervention seems to be the best, but it's still work in progress.
Mark, would you have scouted the players' form in terms of the amount of fouls they have committed previously, penchant for diving, or their propensity to be offside so you could settle any 50-50 decisions you'd have to make in an instant?
We used to receive a lot of data from the analysts on how different areas of the corner kicks, where the players would deliver the ball into certain areas, how many fouls, how many yellow cards. Certainly you need all that information. Does it really change any decisions on the field of play? No, it doesn't, but certainly it will help if a player's left-footed, right-footed, where they're going to put the ball from a corner kick, etc. But for example, how many yellow cards they had, what does that prove? That they're a dirty player? But it doesn't analyse when you're actually analysing a foul because you have to judge that actual foul and not actually the player.
But Ali's got the reputation of being the biggest diver in MLS history, Mark. Surely that comes into play, an official going into a match in which Ali is playing, because already he's got that reputation.
Can I interrupt there?
Yeah.
It didn't when he was playing.
No?
Because the referees had about as much idea about what taking contact was as flying in the sky.
Right.
So the officials were rotten.
Okay. Because you've forgotten about that. Let go that, Bo.
I used to talk to them before the game.
I was really good at it.
No, but that's the thing. Yes, he was good at it, but if you know somebody's looking for it,
yes,
Are you really that blind or that stupid, or do you just not know anything about the game?
Mark, are you that blind or stupid?
No, you do. When you know a player, well, probably both. Probably both. But when a player automatically simulates, when a player does this or tries and deceives the referee all the time, referees aren't stupid. They're going to get better angles. Does the player benefit from it now? Probably not, because he probably doesn't get the ones that he should get, because you're already looking to think, you know what, there's a doubt he might be simulating there, so you don't call the foul.
Stevie, thoughts on Luis Diaz and the role he can play at Liverpool?
Oh, absolutely, aye. I mean, quick feet, he's got pace, loves to go forward,
Yep.
can score goals. He's only 25 years old. You know, when Manny came from Southampton, everybody was kind of going, oh, they could have a problem with this guy. You know, he looked as though he might be a problem.
When they signed Salah, you said he wouldn't even be in the starting 11.
I didn't say that.
I think you did.
No, I didn't.
I think
Go
you said,
back and
I don't know where it's going to fit. I don't know how he's going to fit into the team.
That's not what I said.
Yeah.
Anyway, we won't go into that again for the 100th time. But no, it's absolutely the profile of the player that Liverpool are looking to sign. And they started it with the likes of Mane and Salah.
Mark, why are the refs so afraid to book a player for diving, especially with VAR showing multiple replays? We talked about Mane, didn't we, in the final yesterday?
Yeah, I think that's an example where if they're on a second yellow card, then it makes it more difficult for the referee. If it's a first offence, automatically.
Oh, that's the most sense Mark's made, really, throughout the whole show. Okay. Ali, we saw the freezing cold in Minnesota for the US men's national team game last week. Did you ever play in the altitude in Bolivia, and what was that like?
So I played in Santa Cruz de la Sierra in Bolivia. I played in Quito, Ecuador. I never actually played in La Paz. I was there, but I had a comfortable seat on the bench. And even on the bench, I was losing my breath. I thought, my goodness, I don't even want to warm up in this. But in Santa Cruz de la Sierra, that also has altitude, and Quito, that also has altitude. The feeling is very simple. And I think this is something that people can relate to. Even when you're going for a jog out there and you're trying to catch that second wind, and you have sort of that feeling in which you're gasping for air, you have that feeling over the course of 90 minutes. You never catch the second wind. You're always gasping for breath. You're always out of breath, and you're only pushing yourself physically to the edge because you know that that's what's necessary and what's needed to win the game. But every part in your body and in your brain is telling you, this is not safe. This doesn't feel right. And yet you're still sprinting, but every part of your body is saying, don't do this, go sit down, this is terrible, what in the world are you doing? And yet you keep going.
Shaki, that's your feeling at sea level pretty much, yeah?
I've never caught my second wind. I've never played at those kinds of altitudes. I played at the Azteca a couple of times, but nowhere near as bad as that.
Where did you play in the oxygen masks?
That was Mexico.
Was that Mexico?
86. Aye, awful, as Ali said. I mean, you could every now and again, as long as it wasn't too frequent, you could put a sprint in.
Right.
But it took you forever to recover.
And then you're fighting over the masks at half time, yeah? Because they weren't enough for everyone?
Yeah, well, we got in, there was only like 6 masks on the wall.
Okay.
But of course, there's 11 players.
Yes.
And it was like, it was like puppies going to try and get a nipple from a dog, and there wasn't enough.
Lovely analogy.
And there wasn't, well, it is. And there wasn't enough. And you know how they're all climbing over each other to get to it. That's what we were like. We're like elbowing people in the face. Get out. Then somebody grabbing your back of your collar and throwing you away and getting oxygen.
Mark, be honest, has it ever gotten personal with a player to an extent you go into a game already annoyed just because he'll be playing in it? Joey Barton, Mark?
Craig.
Yeah.
No, Joey wasn't bad. I had a problem with Craig Bellamy. Every time Craig Bellamy was on the pitch, me and him used to fight. And I remember sending him off. I gave him a first yellow for dissent and a second yellow card for diving, and it must have been one of the most blatant penalties, and he'd never forgive us. So every time I refereed him after that, I never had a chance.
I was hoping it was going to be Craig Burley. That'd be good. Did you have any sort of relationship with referees?
No.
No.
No. The guys at our time weren't professional for a start.
Right.
So they had a completely different attitude.
Yeah.
They were happy just to talk to you and swear at you.
Oh, nice.
And laugh and carry on. But I didn't have much to do with them. I was too busy concentrating on what I was doing.
Mark, on the other flip side of that, would you give decisions to players that you liked?
No, I don't think it ever happens. But it's interesting. I always thought that if a player was always nice, they probably got away with 1 or 2 yellow cards for sure. You know, if a player's dissenting towards you, nasty towards you, you're always looking to think, you know, I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt. So players that were probably nice and honest probably got more benefits of the doubt.
Final question for Stevie, Shaka and Ali. Given Dan's propensity to stir the pot more often than not, when has he annoyed you or made you angry the most, either on the show or off it?
Try to think which one.
Well, there's the famous incident when you got really angry at me.
Yeah.
Which incident is that, Dan?
Yeah,
That's when Steve really got angry at me.
I said.
Because you, it was like, was
Contact.
Daniel Sturridge going to start, wasn't it? And you said, I've been speaking to a couple of people at Liverpool and I'm hearing that he's fit. And I asked you, who have you spoken
you
to?
just letting it right. That smart aleck way you do it. Just like you did it earlier on the show.
Yes.
Talking about, no, actually on here.
Right.
Program.
On this programme. What other show have we done today?
It was like 5 minutes ago. About Mohamed Salah. Who
Yeah.
you said
Yes.
he was never going to.
Yeah.
That really got that stuff gets up.
But no, normally you're okay with it. But the Daniel Sturridge thing, for some reason, because I'd asked who you'd
Yes.
spoken to at the club that said he was okay,
Yeah.
and then you just got red, and then we went to a break, and you went, you're trying to make me look like a, and then swore at me
Yeah.
quite a lot.
Yeah.
And Craig is there going, in the corner, and you're getting angry.
I do remember it well. I wasn't
But it
naughty.
was only like 20 seconds, and you snapped out of it, and then it was fine.
You do that.
There you go.
Discipline.
Discipline, that is it.
Controlling your emotions.
All right, we are done. That is it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mark. We will be back tomorrow for more of this. Until then, goodbye. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and of course, ESPN FC 7 days a week, subscribe to ESPN Plus.